Hello to all CineMaster lovers. Hope you enjoy watching. Let's get started. The story Zombivli begins in India with a man taking his friend to the hospital because he's suffering from a strange illness. But he's shocked to find the whole place crowded, and the doctors can't diagnose the disease. Among the patients is his friend Sanda, who's convulsing, so they tie him up and give him a sedative. When he calms down, he asks for some water, but no one responds. He asks the doctor what's really going on, and the doctor says it seems these people are suffering from poisoning. Suddenly, his hand starts moving on its own and grabs the doctor by the throat, almost killing him. He struggles to control it, apologizes to the doctor, and leaves. At that moment, the sedated patient wakes up. His eyes turn white. His body convulses in a terrifying way, and he turns into a zombie. He attacks the doctors and starts biting everyone around. The next day, we see a pregnant woman named Maggie yelling at her husband Tango in the car. At night, a drunk man is walking down the street and suddenly sees a zombie in front of him. He thinks it's another drunk guy or a prank, but the zombie attacks him and bites his ear off. The next day, Tango takes a nice shower to get ready for work, but finds there's a water shortage and a big crowd around leaking pipes. And there is a girl comes and asks him to fill her bottle, but he says he doesn't have any water. She points to the car. He arrives at his company, which deals in mineral water. The company has set up a new production line to export water abroad. Tango is surprised they want to export water while people outside are fighting over a bottle. He notices there's a restricted area in the company and suspects something is wrong. Meanwhile, Vigwas is protesting outside the company because it's responsible for the water shortage. Security deals with the protesters harshly. The problem is, Vigwas's hand starts acting up again, grabs the security guard by the neck, and lifts him up, but the workers threaten to report to the police, and he actually walks against his will with the people with him. At night, Maggie's pregnancy hormones kick in, and she argues with her husband, telling him she's hungry and wants to eat. Tango goes out to get her food, and by coincidence, Vigwas is in the same place. Vigwas gets a call from his boss, so he goes outside to answer it. Tango is there, takes his food, and leaves. Before getting in his car, a zombie attacks him and tries to bite him. Luckily, Vigwas saves him at the last moment, telling him to pay his debt. Suddenly, Vigwas's hand tries to choke Tango, but he grabs it with his other hand before it can. Tango runs away, takes his wife, and reports Vigwas, telling the officer that Vigwas tried to choke him. The officer says not to worry, they'll bring him in for questioning. The next day, Vigwas is arrested and tells the officer his hand moves on its own. They lock him up until someone can bail him out. Meanwhile, Tango requests the company's pollution file, but the employee changes the subject and tells him the company owner has invited him to his birthday party. At the party, Tango meets the owner, who asks him for the pollution numbers to avoid trouble with officials, making Tango suspicious of corruption. Back in jail, Vigwas's hand wakes up and starts choking his cellmate, who protests that he's not responsible for Vigwas being locked up. An officer comes in and separates them. Suddenly, a zombie enters the police station, bites the officer, and attacks Vigwas's cellmate. Vigwas escapes the cell just before the zombie gets him. His cellmate turns into a zombie, but Vigwas hits him with a clay water jug, and surprisingly, the zombie freezes in place because of the water. Meanwhile, Maggie leaves the house and is shocked to see zombies everywhere, so she hides upstairs. Her neighbor hears the commotion, grabs his shotgun, and tells her not to worry, but when he sees the zombies, he becomes terrified. Maggie takes the shotgun, shoots him, and meets another neighbor. They all escape together. Tango is in his car nearby, surrounded by zombies, because the zombies are attracted to loud noises, so they turn on the alarms of distant cars, and the zombies run towards them. They take advantage of the opportunity, get in the car, and escape. Then we see a journalist and her photographer colleague enter the police station. There we find Vigwas manages to remove his handcuffs and escapes with the others. The officer asks where they're going. Suddenly, Tango arrives and hits him, so they all get into the car and drive away until they reach the city limits, where a police checkpoint stops anyone from leaving to prevent the infection from spreading. Tango tries to prove they're normal, but the police don't believe him because of his silly behavior. He starts undressing to prove he hasn't been bitten. The old man threatens the police with a weapon. The police shoot him in the shoulder, and they all get back to the city. They go to the hospital but find zombies everywhere, so they lock themselves in the reception room. The zombies try to get in, but Maggie covers the glass so the zombies can't see them. The zombies calm down and stop pushing the door, The doctor tells them their city is the only one with zombies. The old man complains and the doctor takes him for treatment. They turn on the TV to check the news and discover all communication with the city has been cut off, and if things get worse, the whole city will be sacrificed. After a while, Tango discovers he's injured on his arm and fears he may have been bitten by a zombie. The doctor says the old man needs a blood transfusion from a rare type. Maggie says her husband has the same type and asks him to donate blood. Tango leaves for another room. Maggie asks him what's wrong, and he says he has a wound on his arm and will lock himself up just in case it's a zombie bite. She touches her belly and says if he turns she'll kill herself because she can't live a day without him. The next day he wakes up moving strangely like a zombie, but Maggie hits him on the head before he can bite her. He tells her the wound isn't a bite, just a scratch, but she doesn't believe him and is afraid. He told them that he is sure that the factory waste is the reason for this virus because the company was hiding the pollution rate. Vigwas told him we must get into the factory and discover this, so they prepare and tied their hands so that they could face the zombies. Then they play a song and throw the phone far away so that the zombie heads toward it, and their plan actually works and they get out of the hospital. But when they reach the factory, they are surprised to find it full of zombies, so they throw a water bottle to make a noise and the zombies head toward it. They manage to enter the factory safely and keep walking until they find barrels. They are surprised to find poisonous chemicals inside them. Suddenly, the company owner and his assistant appear. He offers them money in exchange for keeping quiet. At that moment, Vigwas's hand wakes up and he points a weapon at them, but the assistant hits his arm and they escape from the place. The factories start biting them one by one. Tango takes his group and enters the office. He is afraid of the zombies' appearance. After a while, he takes off his tie to stop the bleeding. The problem is, they remain trapped for a while and the situation gets worse. So he calls Maggie and asks her to leave the hospital. He tells her, "We're trapped and the zombies could break in at any moment." They all go down to escape in the ambulance, but a jerk locks them in the hospital because they fought with him before. The zombies are almost upon them, but an unknown person comes, breaks the glass, and throws a smoke grenade. Because of the smoke, the fire sprinklers go off. There's nowhere to escape, so they surrender to the zombies. Suddenly, the zombies freeze in place because of the water. They quickly escape from the hospital. Maggie meets the person who locked him in, punches him so hard, takes the ambulance, and heads to the factory to save her husband, but she comes across a fire truck and tells the people they need to take it to use the water against the zombies. On the other side, Tango breaks the glass, and they escape through the window getting out of the factory, but the zombies attack them. Vigwas tries to block the zombies with iron barriers, but he can't hold them off. The zombies surround them from all directions. At that moment, Maggie arrives with the fire truck. They open the hose and drench the zombies with water. After this discovery, they manage to stop all the zombies in the city. 3 weeks later, Maggie goes to the hospital to give birth and has a beautiful baby girl. Tango carries her and celebrates with his family. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to get more new videos. See you next time.